For walking out after my mom disinherited me and telling her not to expect a dime from me? My name is Jessica and I am 36 years old. I work in a large international trade company. I am the director of premier accounts. It sounds elegant, yes, but simply put, I have to handle the high-stakes clients, those who move serious money and demand results. And the truth is they pay me well, very well. I did not get there by luck. Cost me years. College, then certifications and workdays that seemed to never end. I spent my time climbing step by step without shortcuts. Now I have my own condo in a nice area of Pasadena, a Mercedes that runs smoothly, as if it were floating, and a bank account that would impress anyone. If you ask me, are you doing well? I would tell you yes. I am doing well, but my parents do not see it that way. For them, something is always incomplete. Every time I visit them it is the same. Jessica, and when are you going to get married? Jessica, don't play dumb. The clock is ticking. Jessica, don't you want children? As if my whole life were summarized in a ring. And of course there is always the perfect example. My older brother, Michael. Michael is 38. He married Sarah right out of college and they had 4 children. Thomas, the oldest, is already 15. Then there is Jacob, 13. Then Emily, 9, and the little one, Lily, who is 6. My parents melt for those children. Their faces change, their eyes light up as if light bulbs were turned on inside them every time Michael arrives with them. And Sarah, I cannot deal with Sarah. She has that way of tilting her head and looking at me with a little smile of pity, as if I were a project that needed fixing. Jessica, she tells me with a soft voice, one of those that gets under your skin. I have a cousin who is also single. Good job, very serious. I can introduce you. I always answered with politeness. How nice of you, Sarah. But right now I am focused on my work. What I wanted to say was something else, but I was raised differently. The funny thing is that while they sit and judge my life, they have never been ashamed to receive my money. Because yes, with my money it all started 3 years ago. My dad spoke to me with a voice I did not recognize. He sounded tired, worried. Jess, honey, we are struggling with the mortgage. Your mom has been having health issues and I had to stop working for a time. It is not enough for us anymore. I did not even think about it. They are my parents. How was I going to say no? I started paying the mortgage on their house month after month. It was a heavy monthly payment, one of those over $2,500. And I covered it for 3 complete years without missing one. And then came the rest, as if it were a list that did not end. First, the electricity bill from SoCal Edison was very high. There I go. I pay it. Then the gas is almost finished. I pay the gas bill. After that, the water bill is arriving very expensive. I pay the water. Then my dad. The internet is so slow it doesn't work for anything. I hired them a good package with Spectrum. And my mom one day, as if she were talking about the weather. I saw on TV that there are already smart houses. It would be so cool. Imagine being able to tell the microwave to heat up. And that was it. Instead of laughing, I opened my wallet, bought them a new fridge, washer, dryer, microwave, and dishwasher. And I also set up the whole system to control it with voice and an application. It included a central hub, installation, and a monthly support plan. Everything remained in my name because they asked me to, so it would be easier. My mom was fascinated. She showed it off to her friends. Look, look, she said as if it were a show. Alexa, heat the coffee. And when the beep sounded, her friends' mouths opened. Oh, how modern. What my mom never said was who paid for it. That part she always forgot. And then came Michael, claiming he was struggling with his car loan and just needed a little push. And whose name do you think ended up on the paperwork as the co-signer? Mine. I also ended up paying part of the insurance and expenses. And then, since family is family, I started covering activities for the children. Soccer practice, piano classes, summer camps. There went other thousands of dollars that nobody counted. And when they wanted to go on vacation all together, there was Aunt Jessica paying for the hotel and plane tickets. I repeated to myself, I can do it. It is fine, it is my family. But sometimes I stayed awake thinking, when was the last time any of them said thank you? Not a quick thanks before asking for another thing. A real thank you. I could not remember one. Last month, finally, I made the last mortgage payment. 3 years. It was over. The house was theirs free and clear. I called my mom excited. The truth is, it gave me pleasure. Mom, it's done. I just made the last payment. The house is all yours. My mom squealed as if she had been given a huge gift. Oh, Jess, how wonderful. We have to celebrate. I'm going to make your favorite dishes. Come on Saturday. Michael is coming with Sarah and the children. She insisted more than was normal. She repeated it to me twice, as if it were urgent for me to be there. I took it as excitement. Saturday arrived and I left around 6. I left my condo in Pasadena and headed over to their place in Van Nuys. It was late, the traffic on the freeway was still heavy, and even so I arrived with time to spare. I carried a bottle of wine. The moment I opened the door, the smell of freshly made food hit me, and for a second I forgot all my accumulated tiredness. Michael's car was already outside. That meant, as always, they had arrived first. I entered the dining room and there was Michael with that face of, I deserve everything. Sarah with her fake smile perfectly placed. The children arguing about who sat where. My dad serving and my mom coming and going, attending to everything. The table was full. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, salad, warm rolls, and for dessert apple pie. It was a big meal, one of those made when the family wants to look good. We sat down, started eating everything normal until it was not. My dad settled in his chair and said very solemnly, well, today is a special day. This house is officially ours. Michael, without raising his eyes much, let out, thanks to Jessica, but he said it weirdly, as if he were reading from a script. My mom hurried. Yes, thanks to Jessica. The children, unaware, kept eating, talking about their things, but I saw something I did not like. Michael and Sarah glanced at each other, a quick look, then another, as if they were answering each other without speaking. We finished dinner. My mom got up to clear the table and then said, before dessert, your dad and I want to tell you something. My stomach tightened. In my family, when someone says that, it is never for a good reason. My mom went to a piece of furniture and took out a folder, one of those thick, well-kept manila-colored ones. It hit me all at once. Folders like that do not appear at a dinner by chance. What's happening? I asked. My mom smiled as if it were nothing. She sat down, opened the folder and took out some papers. We went to see the lawyer, she said. And we updated the will. My dad nodded. To have everything in order. I looked at the table. The children continued in their own world. Michael and Sarah were too quiet, attentive, as if they were watching the end of a movie. My mom continued. We thought about the future. About what's best for the family. She put the document on the table in front of her. From where I was, I could see official stamps, and then she looked directly at me. We decided that when we are gone, everything we have, the house, the savings, everything is going to be for Michael and the children. I felt as if they had delivered a dry blow to my chest. I stayed looking at her, waiting for her to continue to say my name, to clarify that there was a part, something, anything, but no. My mom kept talking as if she were explaining a grocery list to me. Jessica, you are fine, you have your job, your condo, your things. You do not need anything. My dad finished it off. And Michael has 4 children. One has to think about college, about everything that comes. I blinked. It was hard for me to talk. Are you saying that you are leaving me out? My mom did not even flinch. We are not leaving you out, honey. We are being practical. Practical. I felt my head could not manage to process it. You waited for me to finish paying the mortgage to tell me this. The question remained hanging in the air. My parents looked at each other, but I did not see shame, I did not see pity. If anything, I saw annoyance, as if I were ruining the moment. My mom spoke with that patient voice she used when I was a girl and got intense. Jessica, understand something. The family helps each other. You can help, so you help. That is how it works. I looked at her in disbelief. And you are telling me that I am not going to receive anything precisely because I am doing well, because I worked, and because I helped you? Sarah cleared her throat, very sure of herself. Jessica, you are exaggerating. Your parents only want to be fair. I turned to look at her. She had that triumphant look on her face, as if she had already won. Fair, I repeated. Seriously. Sarah adjusted herself in the chair like someone preparing to give an explanation. Michael and I have struggled. There are 4 children, everything is very expensive. You are alone, you earn well. You do not need an inheritance. Michael added with a victim tone. You have always been the successful one. Your job, your condo. We are just trying to get ahead. That was when I felt that heat rising in my chest, to my face, to everything. You are telling me this after I have been paying the mortgage for 3 years and 1,000 other things? My mom raised her hand as if wanting to control the scene. Jessica, calm down. This is a celebration. I stood up. No, I am not going to calm down. This is a profound lack of respect. Sarah rolled her eyes as if I were a lost cause. You are making a drama. You should talk to someone, a therapist. That anger is not healthy. I looked at her fixedly. It's not healthy? Then why have you been so comfortable taking my money? The table went silent. Michael lowered his gaze to his plate. Sarah turned red. My parents stared at me as if I were a stranger. I saw them all. My family, the people I had supported for years. And there they were, telling me to my face that I was not worthy enough to be in their will because I am doing well. I took a deep breath. I am going to remember this, I said, referring to everything. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. My mom called after me. Jessica. I did not turn around. I left and closed the door with force. Driving back was like being on autopilot. My hands trembled on the steering wheel, and the conversation replayed in my head again and again. They planned it. They waited for me to finish paying the mortgage and then they dropped the bomb on me. I arrived at my condo, poured myself a drink, and sat watching the wall. I felt angry, hurt, and yes, also foolish. The next day I woke up with a bitter taste in my mouth and a horrible headache. I had slept 3 hours, if that. The night was spent purely turning things over in my head, but something changed. The pain remained, yes, but behind it came something else. Determination. I was not going to stand by and do nothing. Early Monday, I called my lawyer, Mr. David Chun. He helped me when I bought my condo and when I made my own will. He was direct and did not beat around the bush. When I told him everything, he was silent for a moment. Jessica, I'm sorry. Family fights over money are the worst. Tell me one thing, I asked him. I paid that mortgage for 3 years. Does that not count for anything? David sighed. The problem is that you were not on the deed or the loan. Legally, you were making voluntary payments, basically gifts. It does not make you the owner or give you an automatic right. I felt my stomach drop. So there is nothing to be done. Not necessarily, he said. Look at it another way. You have been supporting them in various things, right? Yes. And what if you stop doing it? I was quiet. David continued. Think about it. If someone tells you that you do not deserve to be in their will, the logical thing is for you to reconsider how much you want to continue being so generous with your money. A slow smile appeared on my face. David, you are a genius. I hung up. I opened my computer and started. First, I called Spectrum. I want to cancel the internet service at my parents' house. The address is 428 Fresno Street, Van Nuys. Can you confirm the account holder? It's me. Reason for cancellation? I am no longer paying for it. Then I called the company that handled the smart home system, the central hub and support. I want to cancel the support plan for the address at 428 Fresno Street. Ma'am, if you cancel, the voice control and app access will deactivate. Without the plan, we do not provide assistance or reconfiguration. I understand. Cancel it. They tried to convince me to reconsider, that they would be without support. I was already decided. After that, I spoke to the finance company for Michael's car. I need to put it on record that I will no longer cover that loan. I am listed as a co-signer. The person on the phone explained what I already imagined. That notices would start, there would be charges, and the process would follow its course. That's fine, I said. I just wanted to make it clear. I logged into my online banking and canceled every automatic payment connected to them. Bills, services, tuition for activities, camps, everything. Then I spoke with the insurance company. I want to adjust my policy. I no longer want to cover other people or vehicles that are not mine. The operator asked me for names and data. I gave them to her. Done, ma'am. It will be applied at your next renewal, and those charges will no longer appear on your current receipts. It took me about 2 hours to undo 3 years of support, And with each call, I swear I felt my body get lighter, as if I were taking off a burden that had become part of my life. That is when the chaos started. That same day, as soon as the internet went down and the voice control stopped responding, my phone did not stop ringing. I was in the office mid-morning, entering a meeting. When I saw my mom's name on the screen, I rejected the call. She dialed again. I rejected it again. Then my dad. Rejected. Then Michael. Rejected. By lunchtime, I already had 17 missed calls. Then the messages started. My mom. Jessica, there is no internet and nothing responds anymore. I can't turn on the microwave with my voice. Call me. My dad. What did you do? The house doesn't respond anymore. We don't even know how to work it. Sarah. This is childish. Your parents are older now. You are acting like a brat. I did not answer. In the following days, other messages were added about the technician, about reconfiguring, about paying for reinstallation, about how without support everything is very expensive. And me the same. Silence. Then came the car issue. 3 weeks later, they were already hounding Michael for late payments. And one morning he called me frantic. Jessica. They came for the car, they repossessed it. I have to get to work. Call me now. I deleted the message. That night I was preparing dinner when the doorbell rang. I peeked through the peephole and there they were, all 4 of them standing at my door. My mom, my dad, Michael, and Sarah looked furious. I opened the door, but I did not step aside to invite them in. What do you want? My mom entered anyway, as if my condo were also hers. We have to talk. I do not think so, I told her. My dad entered behind her. Serious. This has gone too far. Your mom can't even use anything like before. She doesn't understand the system. We were left without internet and the technician says we have to pay for reconfiguration and support. And right now we do not have the money. My mom had shiny eyes, about to cry. He told us that without the plan, everything is more expensive. He said that to get it back to how it was, we have to pay for installation again. Do you have any idea how much that costs? I looked at her without blinking. That is not my problem. Michael took a step forward. Jessica, I need the car. I have to get to work. I looked at him calmly. You should have thought about that before deciding that I am not worth enough to be in the will. Sarah crossed her arms. See? This is just what I said. You are being resentful. Your parents are suffering because of your tantrum. My tantrum, I repeated. I felt the heat rise, but I controlled it. You want to talk about suffering? I have been paying for your life for 3 years. 3 years. And the only thing I received was a will where you leave me out and a dinner to tell me to my face that my value is measured by whether I have a husband or not. My mom lifted her chin. We never asked you to pay for everything. I looked at her in disbelief. Seriously. My voice broke a little, but I did not back down. Every time you spoke to me it was for money. The mortgage, the bills, the internet, the appliances. And I said yes because I thought you appreciated it, because I thought I was also part of this family. My dad approached, trying to sound firm. That implies the family helps each other. I walked to my front door and opened it wide. No, that is not family. I saw the 4 of them. That is an ATM. My mom froze. Jessica, please, can we fix this? We can go to the lawyer tomorrow and talk about it. I laughed without humor. Talk about it. After you waited for me to finish paying the mortgage to drop this on me. Michael spoke as if wanting to lower the tone. It was not like that. Yes, it was like that. I cut him off. Exactly like that. Sarah opened her mouth. We do appreciate what you did. I looked at her. When? Tell me when, because I do not remember a single thank you from any of you. They stared at me as if I were crazy. Maybe I did look crazy, but inside, for the first time in years, I felt clarity. I already said it. Everyone get out and do not come back. My mom took a step toward me. Jess. I pointed to the door. You already made it clear that when you pass, I am not going to receive a single dollar. Well, then you are not going to receive a single dollar from me, while you are alive either. I stayed with the door open until finally they left. Michael was the last. He turned as if wanting to say something. Do not even try it, I told him. Just go. I closed the door, locked it, poured myself a glass of water and sat at the kitchen table. This time it was not wine. I wanted to be present for the first time in 3 years. I was not thinking about other people's bills or payments or emergencies. I was free. The first weeks were a delicious silence. I threw myself into my work. Without the stress of solving everyone's life, I could really concentrate. I closed 2 big clients. My boss congratulated me. My bank account stopped draining and finally started to grow again. But silence does not last when you have a nosy family. A month later, my cousin Rachel called me. My mom's sister's daughter, the type who always knows everything and tells everyone. I almost did not answer, but curiosity won. "Jessica," said Rachel, "I already heard about your parents. Your mom spoke to mine crying. She says you cut the internet, that you turned off the house, and that they repossessed Michael's car." I let out a short laugh. "So that is what she told you? She says you are being resentful because they did not put you in the will. But there has to be something else." Rachel wanted the complete story, and the truth is I did not care anymore. "Yes, there is more, Rachel. I paid their mortgage for 3 years every single month. I also paid for electricity, gas, water, and internet. I bought them new appliances, paid for the kids' activities, and Michael's car had a loan where I was the co-signer. I supported everyone." Rachel was quiet. "My aunt never mentioned that." "Of course not," I said. "They took my money for years, and just when I finished paying the mortgage, they announced they were leaving me out because I am doing well." Rachel let out a breath. "Wow, that is really awful. That is why I stopped paying. If I am not worth enough to be in their will, then I am not worth enough to support them either." For the first time, Rachel sounded sincere. "Good for you. How terrible that they did that to you." And word got around. In a family, news travels fast. In the following weeks, I kept finding out through other relatives about the disaster. My parents had to pay in installments to get the system half working again. In the end, since they did not want to or could not continue paying for support, they went back to basics. They changed some things, others they left as they were, all without the luxury of before. My dad, who had been out of work for more than a year, got a job at a hardware store. At 64 years old, standing all day again, moving merchandise and attending to people. My mom complained to anyone who would listen, saying it was humiliating. Michael was also doing badly. He ended up buying a used car that broke down every so often. The children quit soccer and piano because there was no more money, and Sarah, to make ends meet, went to work a part-time shift at Walmart. I even started to hear that Michael and his family might be moving in with my parents to save on rent. For children in their grandparents' house in a reduced space. Good luck with that. One day another cousin, Jeanette, called me laughing. "Jessica, I have some gossip for you. Yesterday I saw your mom at the supermarket. She was saying you are ungrateful, that you left her all alone, and a neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, answered her, 'Well, if my daughter had paid my mortgage for 3 years, I would be grateful.' I could not help but let out a laugh. And what did my mom say? She turned red and walked away. She was speechless. That is when I understood that the real version was coming out. Not because I shouted it, but because the truth has its own weight. Did I feel a little guilty? Yes, a little. I did not want to expose my parents, but I was not going to let them paint me as the villain either. A few months later, I ran into Michael at the supermarket. He looked different, tired, older. He had on wrinkled clothes, his hair was uncut, and his cart was full of generic brands. The most basic stuff. We saw each other. He swallowed hard. "Hello," he said uncomfortably. "Hello." We stood there like two strangers. Finally he spoke. "The kids ask about you sometimes. They do not understand why you do not come over anymore." I breathed slowly. "And what do you tell them?" Michael lowered his gaze. "I do not know, that you are busy." Then he raised his eyes, as if hoping I would save him again. "Jessica, I know we made a mistake. My parents did not handle it well, but cutting us off like that is hard." I looked at him directly. "Hard? Hard as having your money taken for years and then being told that you do not deserve even a place in the will because you are doing well. That is hard." Michael opened his mouth, but nothing came out. I pushed my cart and passed him. I had nothing else to say. 6 months after cutting everything off, I was better than I had been in years. Less stress, more calm, more money, more life. I started dating a man I met through work, Daniel. A calm, stable guy, and best of all, he did not need me to fix his life or pay for anything for him. I sold my Mercedes and bought a new car. This time it was not to show off. It was for pleasure. A beautiful red convertible Audi. I went on vacation to the Riviera Maya, something I had postponed for years to be available if something came up with my family. This time I went without that background anxiety, without late-night calls, without invented emergencies. The best part was the silence. No more messages of "it broke down." No more "we did not have enough." No more "help us out a little." My money was mine again. I heard through the grapevine that my parents continued to struggle. My dad's salary did not cover everything, and they were talking about selling the house and moving to a smaller apartment. The house that I finished paying for. I felt a pang of pity. Sometimes they are my parents. But then I remembered that dinner, the manila folder, the tone with which they said I did not need anything, the way they justified leaving me out as if my effort did not count. I remembered years of receiving my money without gratitude, years of pointing out my life while they lived off my work, years of treating me like an ATM, not like a daughter. And then no, I did not feel pity. I felt peace. My only regret is not having done it sooner. I should have put a stop to it the first time they took without thanking, the first time they made me feel that my value depended on fitting the mold they wanted. Now I understood it clearly. For them, I was a resource, not a person. But that was over. My money, my life, my rules. Hello, I am Lily. I am the youngest in the family, and although I do not understand many grown-up things, I did understand something that hurt me. We wanted Aunt Jessica close, but we treated her as if her effort was not worth anything, as if helping was an obligation and not an act of love. When she left, the house stayed the same, but it felt empty. With time, I learned that family is not about holding out a hand and demanding, but about caring, thanking, and respecting limits, even when it is hard. If someone supports you, say thank you for real, without expecting something in return. And if you are the one who provides support, you also deserve to be seen, heard, and treated with affection. Thank you for accompanying us in this story. I send you a big and sincere hug. Comment. It's easy to lose yourself when you're constantly giving to others and receiving nothing in return. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's how you protect your well-being and peace of mind. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and gratitude, not obligation or financial dependence. Sometimes saying no is the bravest thing you can do to protect your life and dignity. Your worth is never defined by how much you provide or what you can buy for others. Choosing your peace over pleasing everyone else is a necessary step toward real happiness. We all deserve to be surrounded by people who see us for who we are, not just for what we can give. I hope this story encourages you to reflect on your relationships and hold close the people who truly value you. Remember, you are enough exactly as you are, and you deserve to be treated with love and kindness. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.